Oh my god, what a first round of the 2022 NFL draft. My mind is completely blown at all the things that we just witnessed tonight with the insane amount of trades. I think there were 10 trades tonight, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of people moving up. And there was also a couple wide receiver trades as well. AJ Brown and Hollywood Brown both getting moved. And in this video, guys, I kind of want to talk about which players are still left for the Chicago Bears to select tomorrow in rounds 2 and rounds 3 of the NFL draft. By the way, I will be live streaming my reaction to rounds 2 and rounds 3 tomorrow on my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to watch that stream, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll be going live around probably like 5:50, 6 p.m.-ish when the draft is starting tomorrow. But let's talk about this draft, guys, okay? So I'll give you guys my opinions on what the other NFC North teams did. So like the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers, which I cannot believe the Packers selected 2 defensive players, but I'll give you guys like a quick reaction to their picks. So starting with the Detroit Lions, guys, so they got Aiden Hutchinson at pick number 2, which I think is a slam dunk home run pick. I mean, really good pass rusher out of Michigan, staying in Michigan, and I thought he was gonna go number 1 overall, but the Jaguars are the Jaguars, okay, and they passed up on a sure thing to work on a project which has pretty much never worked for the Jaguars, but it's their decision, I guess. So the Lions got a good player in Hutch. They also traded up to pick number 12, which they didn't give up much at all, guys, to move up to pick number 12. The Minnesota Vikings pick to select Jameson Williams out of Alabama. This guy is fast. This guy was probably one of the better receivers in this year's class. So, hate to say it, but Lions had a pretty damn good first round. I'm still not scared of them until they get a good quarterback, because Jared Goff isn't scaring anybody, okay? And until you draft, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud next year, I'm not afraid of the Lions. But the Lions did get a lot better in this year's draft, so good for them, I guess. And talking about the Minnesota Vikings, I didn't like the trade that they did, because they pretty much only got like a mid-rounder in that trade and just switched around their picks a little bit. So I didn't think it was enough value for moving down like 20 spots. Now, Lewis Cine is a good player, don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be pretty solid for the Vikings, especially at a position of need for them. But I don't know, man. I feel like the Vikings could have done better. I was reading what the Vikings fans were saying online. A lot of them weren't really the happiest with the trade that they made. So that's the Vikings. And let me talk about the Green Bay Packers. And I really thought they were going to try to help Aaron Rodgers in the first round. And yes, adding defensive players, that's indirectly helping Aaron Rodgers by building a good defense around him. Quay Walker, I thought, was a bit of a reach. I saw some mocks having him in the first round, but, inside linebacker, I don't think he was the best inside linebacker. I think that's a little bit of a reach. Devontae Wyatt, that's a good pick. I'm not going to, pretend like that's not a good player, but guys, the Packers have a worse receiving core than the Bears do right now, and the Bears are rebuilding, and the Bears are not expected to contend for a Super Bowl this year. The Packers have Aaron Rodgers, still performing at an MVP level, and they refuse to surround him with high-end elite talent at their wide receiver spots. Now, there's still a lot of good receivers left in the draft, so let me not get ahead of myself. There's still, a lot of good players they could draft that could, end up making this work out. But my God, man, you saw other teams be aggressive to get receivers, like the Saints got Chris Olave, the Lions got Jameson Williams, the Commanders got Jahan Dotson. That was kind of a reach, but he's still a good player, I think. The Titans traded away A.J. Brown. They got a replacement for A.J. Brown immediately. Treylon Burks, that's a perfect replacement. That's literally like what my comp would be for Treylon Burks, A.J. Brown. So a lot of teams got receivers, and the Packers refused to draft any, which has their fans really, really mad, guys. I was looking on social media, and Packers fans are not the happiest at how their first round turned out. And I'm sure Aaron Rodgers might not be the happiest either with how, petty he can be in these types of situations. I really thought the Packers were going to select George Pickens, one of my favorite prospects at receiver, with their first pick and also with their second pick, but somehow they never selected him or Christian Watson or any of the other good receivers that were out there. So honestly, really surprised that the Packers didn't choose to help out Aaron Rodgers with any of their first round picks. Now, the defensive picks, yes, they could turn into studs, but you guys saw last year, I mean, they had really good defense in that game, but their offense failed to show up like they have done a lot of times in the playoffs. So that was pretty funny to watch. If I talk about the rest of the draft, the run on wide receivers was pretty scary to watch as a Bears fan because we needed wide receivers this year, and a bunch of them went in the top, like, 18 picks, right? There was, Drake London, number 8, Garrett Wilson, number 10, Chris Olave, 11, Jameson Williams, 12, Jahan Dotson, 16, and Treylon Burks, 18. There was a lot of receivers going in the top 18 picks, so a lot of us thought that there might not be any good ones available in the second round. We thought that the Packers and the Chiefs would probably select a receiver, but they chose not to, and that is why there's actually a lot of good receivers still available for the Chicago Bears to select in the draft tomorrow. In fact, all the top receivers that I realistically wanted to fall to the second round, all of them fell to the second round. George Pickens out of Georgia, Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati, Christian Watson, North Dakota State, Sky Moore, Western Michigan. There's still David Bell. He's probably not going to be a second round pick, maybe a third, maybe a fifth round pick. Jalen Tolbert from, South Alabama, he's still there too. So there's a crazy amount of receiving talent still available on the board, which just makes me so happy that the Bears did not trade up in this year's draft. It was not worth it to trade up because there's so much receiving talent, so much offensive line depth in this year's class. So if we just, stayed put at 39, some of it was bound to fall down to us, and it looks like it will, guys. Now, obviously, there's 6 picks in front of us in the second round. So yes, the Jaguars, whoever else is up. Actually, the Jaguars traded their pick away. So whoever else is in front of us, yes, they could select a receiver, one of these receivers, but I guarantee you guys at least one good receiver is going to be available for us to pick. If you look at the offensive linemen, Bernhard Raymond out of Central Michigan, Cam Jurgens out of Nebraska, Dylan Parham, Memphis, Nicholas Petit-Frere, Ohio State, Justin Fields' previous teammate. There's a lot of good offensive linemen still available. And, if you look at the other positions like linebacker, Nakobe Dean is somehow still available. Really good inside linebacker. Boye Mafe, Logan Hall, Travis Jones, defensive tackles, Christian Harris, linebacker. David Ojabo out of Michigan. He tore his Achilles a couple weeks ago, or actually a couple months ago now, and he was expected to be a top 15 pick, but because of the injury, he's slipping pretty far, but he is a top 15 level talent at edge rusher, which that's a crazy steal if you get him in the second round if he is healthy. So he's pretty good. If you look at some of the cornerbacks, Andrew Booth out of Clemson is still there. Roger McCreary out of Auburn is still available. A lot of talented players still available for the Chicago Bears at positions of need. So again, I'm happy the Bears did not trade up because we're going to have some really good talent falling to us in the second round. I think it's actually likely that the Bears might trade back from one of their picks, whether that be pick number 39 or 48. One of those picks I feel like might be moved back just to acquire another one of these, maybe third round pick, maybe fourth round pick, because right now, again, we only have 6 total picks. It would be nice to have another one in a draft class this deep. So fantastic first round, guys. I was thoroughly entertained. I hope you guys were too, and I cannot wait to stream my reaction to the draft tomorrow. Hopefully we get George Pickens. He is my guy, but if we don't, pretty much any receiver I'll be okay with because we need to provide Justin Fields with some talent. Have a good night, guys, and as always, bear down.